When it comes to guitar speakers, you might say I have a type. Please don't switch off. This video is about the Celestion A-Type. Yes, I think I do have a type, and apparently a sense for dad humor, but then again, I will be 40 before this decade ends, if we make it that far with all the concurrent apocalypses going on. It's getting kind of dark, not where I want to go. Anyway, the Celestion A-Type. I made a video on the V-Type a couple of years ago, I think, at this point, and even though this is the A-Type, I don't associate this, or I didn't associate it and the V-Type with Celestion's A-Team. Both the A-Type and the V-Type I pretty much associated with the more affordable line, not cheap entry level, but kind of one tier below the greenbacks, V30s, creambacks and stuff like that. And in the case of the V-Type, that wasn't justified. That speaker really held its own against the top tier of the Celestion speakers. And today I want to see if that is the same for the A-Type. This speaker was sent to me by the absolute legends at Tube Amp Doctor, same as the headback from last month. Now, that probably doesn't mean you have to consider this sponsored, but you can consider me being friends with some really cool people because Tube Amp Doctor are awesome. So, what am I going to do with this? I'm going to test this speaker the same way I test all speakers, by putting it in this side of my Marshall 1960 AV next to a Celestion Vintage 30 from the year 2024, December 2024, which is nice and smooth between 5 and 6 kilohertz, making it sound rather close to those golden era Vintage 30s from the early 2000s. Both speakers will be mic'd up with Shure SM57s, the Vintage 30, where the dust cap meets the cone, its sweet spot in this cab on that speaker, and the A-Type will be mic'd up in the exact same relative position with an SM57 first. And seeing as how I can't decide if the A-Type has the same sweet spot as the Celestion Vintage 30, I think it sounds just as good but slightly different with the mic position slightly further outside. I'm going to be moving the microphone to that mic position later on in the video. What I'm going to be doing is playing a few sloppy riffs through some of the amplifiers behind me here with both speakers mic'd up, and I'm going to switch back and forth between the speakers in editing so you get a good reference sound for that speaker. To help you further assess if the A-Type is a speaker for you, I'm going to be providing you with some free IRs to download, one for the V30 as reference, and in this case 2 for the A-Type, 1 for each mic position in this video. If you like those IRs, you might want to consider becoming a Patreon of mine. That's where I upload IR packs for all the speakers I demo here with some more mics and more positions. So yeah, you might want to check that out if you like the IRs, that is. After that playthrough, I'm going to be reamping a riff through one of my amplifiers through 1x12s. Each speaker is going to go in an angle 1x12, which is a fabulous sounding 1x12, and mic'd up in the room with a pair of Sennheiser MKH 8020s. So you get an impression of how these speakers sound in the room, because I know that's important to some of you guys. And at the very end, I do some blah blah about the speaker, how I experienced it, what I think. If you're interested in that, stick around. All that is left for me to do is put the A-Type in my Marshall cab and mic everything up, fire up the amps, and do a little playthrough. Righto, I've got the A-Type mic'd up in the reference position. That is the same position as the V30, as you'll be able to see on screen. And when I move it later, you'll be able to tell because it says alt position in the caption there. I'll be using the Marshall JVM, the brilliant Hughes & Kettner Triumph Mark III, my Tube Workshop Blueless, and the Diesel VH4 for this video. I think that's it. Ja, this is a push-push part. Time to move the mic. That probably sounded like ass, but I had fun. Oh, I'm dying. Anyway, that's it for the playthrough. Next up, room sounds, and then I'll meet you here for my final thoughts if I survive. Woo! Good news, everyone! I'm alive! What do we think of the A-Type? I'm pleasantly surprised by it. I was pleasantly surprised by the V-Type when I tested that back in the day, but I think I might actually prefer the A-Type. I think it's even more pleasant sounding. So both the A and the V-Type don't have to hide behind the bigger names, the whatever backs at all. I think they hold their own very well. If I had a cabinet equipped with V-Types or A-Types, I'm not sure if I really feel the urge to change out those speakers. I think they're very usable. The A-Type has a slightly different mid-voicing than the Vintage 30 has, and it's even smoother in that 5 to 6 kilohertz area than my smooth Vintage 30. In fact, it seems to drop off a little earlier, even around 4K, which, makes it sound, which makes it sound not at all harsh. It's a very, what's the English word for that? Agreeable is the word I'm looking for. It's a very agreeable sounding speaker. This particular A-Type pops up a little in the brilliance area where the Vintage 30 or this Vintage 30 doesn't. If that bothers you, doesn't bother me at all. You could just put on a low pass filter and you'd be good to go. So if you want to buy this speaker, there's affiliate links down below. Oh, check out the IRs, test the IRs if you have the means, and if you like those, you might consider becoming a Patreon. If you want one of these, I bet the used market is full of them. As I always say, buy used if you can, but if you can't avoid buying new, there's affiliate links down there. Also, that sick Henry's guitar that sounded great sounded great in my opinion down there. I'm rambling again. I'm out of practice when it comes to making videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.